Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 1. Hokage, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, Betrayal Konoha at the beginning. Author, Black tea is not sweet. Introduction, Hokage plus System plus Invincible plus Betrayal Village. Also known as, Hokage, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, Betrayal Konoha at the beginning. Through Naruto, I like to mention the Super Krypton Gold system, as long as Krypton Gold can become stronger. Uchiha Natsume, who has praised the lucky money for 10 years, finally opened the Kaleidoscope writing will I. Next, what about Flying Thunder God, Immortal Mode, Baeman Duinjia, Samsara I, Heavy Particle Mode? I want all of them. From today, I will never be Konoha's licking dog again. Defeat Fuyue, fight Sarutobi, kill Danzo, betray Konoha. Whoever stands in my way and betrays the village will die. Life and death are bearish. If you don't agree, just do it. My name is Uchiha Natsume, the new of ninja. Who is in favor? Who is against it? Chapter 1 betrayed the village at the beginning, and a kaleidoscope of anger appeared. Now, at dusk. Konoha village, the residence of the Uchiha clan, and in front of the patriarch's mansion. A boy who was not tall and Moyo was only 11 or 12 years old was standing here. Behind the boy were two figures half kneeling, looking at the clothes. Both of them were members of the Konoha police force. After pondering for a while, the boy Uchiha Natsume asked coldly. How many are willing to go? In the early half, a total of 426 people. The person behind him answered quickly. Is it more than half? It seems that the clansmen are really tired of Konoha. Sir, all evacuation must be prepared properly. Natsume, very well, let's get started. Pay attention to my signal for a while. When the time comes, organize everyone and evacuate quickly. There must be no stop. Yes. Also, kidnap that little girl from Quan and her family. There was a hint of surprise in the eyes of the two people behind Xiaomu, but they still led the way without hesitation. As ordered. Go. Xiaomu waved his hand, and the two behind him quickly disappeared. Only he raised his head slightly. Glancing at Nuoda Konoha village behind him, he said in a low voice. Unconsciously, it has been 10 years since I came to this world. The prejudice of the human heart. No matter which world you are in, it is like a mountain that is difficult to climb. Konoha. Heh. Since you still can't tolerate the Uchiha clan, don't blame me for being cruel. Tonight, let me rewrite this history. Then, Natsume looked back. Stepping out one step, Jia opened the door of the patriarch's mansion in front of him. Inside the mansion. The front yard was empty and no crowd. And the figure that Natsume wanted to see was already standing on the stairs of the main hall, as if waiting for him. Uchiha Fuyue, the current chief of the Uchiha clan, the captain of the Konoha police force. You came. Uchiha Fuyue opened his eyes, looking straight at Natsume with a little sharpness. It is worthy of the title of Fighting Eyes Fuyue. It seems that the patriarch already knows what I'm going to do. Uchiha Natsume smiled faintly, as expected. As the chief of Uchiha, the other party holds the Konoha guard in his hand, and his rights are not bad. It is not difficult to gain insight into the fact that he is forming gangs and plotting to defect within the clan. However, it was not as Natsume expected. Although Fuyue knew about his actions. But he still didn't stop himself and report himself. He even helped himself to conceal a lot of loopholes. Otherwise, his own defection plan may have been discovered by the senior officials of Konoha long ago. Your plan is too crude. I can't sit and watch you bring most of the Uchiha clan to perdition. Fuyue stared at Xiaomu and said solemnly, word by word. I have to stop you. The corners of Xiaomu's mouth twitched slightly, and he sneered. Could it be that if you don't act like you, can the entire Uchiha family survive? At this moment, we can't match the entire Konoha, we need to wait for the opportunity. Fuyue retorted sharply, and there was a struggle in his pupils. No one knows better than him the huge gap between a single family and the entire Konoha. Such a reckless defection, even if successful. It will only be turned into powder in Konoha's follow-up endless pursuit. Only by relying on subtle planning and surprises, we may be able to win a glimmer of possibility. For this reason, he let Itachi join Umbu as a spy. Gather information, wait for an opportunity, and re-coup. If you can't match it now, will you be able to match it later? Or, is your plan just relying on a Itachi in the shadows? Perhaps you don't know yet. At this moment, your son, Itachi Uchiha. You should have received an order from Gen, and he is on his way. And his order is, slaughter the entire Uchiha clan to save the life of his younger brother Sasuke. Do you think this is fair? Is it worthwhile to exchange the lives of hundreds of people for one life? Should we be killed for Itachi and his younger brother? Natsum roared loudly, questioning Fuyue nakedly. Hearing this, Fuyue's figure suddenly shook. It seems that he is shocked by Itachi's decision, and he seems to be angry that the senior officials of Konoha are so cold and give such harsh and crazy orders. The air fell into a brief silence. The virtuous Uchiha Mikoto didn't know when she came to Fuyue's side and put her arms around her husband's shoulders, sharing the pressure for Fuyue. Call dash. If this is Itachi's decision, I choose to support him. Fuyue sighed deeply, held his wife's hand, and said firmly. No one knows Itachi's talent better than him. In his opinion, since Itachi made this decision, it must have been the best solution after a very painful struggle. Even for young Sasuke. As a father, he can only compromise and support Itachi. Lord Patriarch, I didn't come to ask your opinion. Whether you agree or not, there is no way to stop it. I am Uchiha Natsum, a member of the Uchiha family. I am definitely not a lamb to be slaughtered in any sheepfold. I will never be slaughtered by the neck. If you have to stop it, then I have to get rid of you first. Summer snorted. Chakra surged out of his body, and he shot out in an instant. On Fuyue's side, his brows were also furrowed, and he also suddenly shot. He would like to see. How good is Itachi for his young nephew? He was able to win over so many clansmen and plotted to defect. And aggressively attacked himself. Art Fire escaped Fireball. Two huge fireballs like tall buildings shot out violently and collided. Boom dash. The huge explosion sounded, and countless flames sputtered out, and the dazzling flames illuminated the small half of Konoha village. For a time, such a fierce battle. It even disturbed most of Konoha, causing countless Umbu ninjas, high-level Konoha, all to follow the sound in a hurry. At this moment, Fuyue, who was in the center of the fierce battle, was even more frightened and smacking his tongue. He never thought of it. The power of Natsum's nephew's fireball technique is so powerful. Not even weaker than himself. You know, he is 40 years old. Whether it is ninjutsu, chakra, experience, etc., they are far larger than half of the ninjas in Konoha village. And the boy in front of him, who is only in his early 10 years, can use this fireball technique so far. How huge should his chakra content be? What is the level of understanding and application of ninjutsu? How monstrous is this? Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 2. And this kid has been silent all the time, hiding his clumsiness to this day. What a heavy heart. What a deep conspiracy. In addition to being amazed, Fuyue showed no mercy. In any case, he has also experienced 2 wars in the ninja world, and the Uchiha Patriarch who has survived to this day is naturally extraordinary in strength. The art of Fireball. The art of Phoenix Immortal Fire. Impatience Claw Red. The fire is extinguished. And many more. A large number of fire ninjutsu, from his hands, emerged one after another, and bombarded the sky towards Shemu. The countless gorgeous firelights almost covered half of the Uchiha station. Just looking at it makes your scalp tingle. On the Natsum side, there are not too many bells and whistles at all. Yes, it's just one after another, holy fireball technique. Big enough. Enough. Fast enough. One after another, the huge fireballs collided with Fuyue's many fire ninjutsu, and annihilated them one by one. If it is in other places, other battlefields. A variety of ninjutsu with different effects may work wonders. But here, under the head-to-head confrontation of two Huadun masters, Natsum has proved with facts that only one ninjutsu with enough power is needed, and it is possible to, one method breaks all methods. Just like Madara, the ancestor of Uchiha. A single, honorable fire extinguishing, can cover countless water escapes. The fighting continues. A large number of fire escape ninjutsu almost reddened half of the sky. But in just a minute or two, dozens of mansions of the Uchiha clan were shrouded in endless fire. Same time. A group of Konoha Umbu ninjas and high-level personnel also arrived here one after another. And seeing this fireball flying, inspiring the battlefield. These ninjas were all stunned. Originally, they all thought that Konoha had been invaded, and then such a fierce battle happened. Can see the result. It was actually Fuyue, the great patriarch of the Uchiha clan, who was fighting against a young Uchiha boy. This makes people look stupid. How is this going? The internal discussion of Uchiha? But there's no need to fight so hard, right? Or, the internal division of the Uchiha clan. But, even if it is a split and infighting, it will not be a teenager in his early tens, come to take the lead. Of course, these doubts are secondary. What really embarrassed the ninjas was that they didn't know who to help. Help Fuyue to pacify the civil unrest. So that Fuyue can continue to lead the Uchiha clan to plot a coup. Help that Uchiha kid fight Fuyue. Attacking Konoha's police force captain for no reason. No matter which one you choose, it is very wrong. Moreover, the power of the Huadun battle between the two is also unbelievably strong. Every blow is no less than the full force of the elite Jonin. Ordinary Umbu ninja rushes up, it is simply courting death. So much so that, although more and more ninjas rushed to the scene of the fierce battle, but they still all hesitated and did not dare to participate in the war indiscriminately. Had to wait and watch on the outside. Or resist the sputtering sparks to prevent the fire from expanding. At the same time, more and more Konoha ninjas were watching. Even many Umbu ninjas who were ordered to monitor the Uchiha clan were attracted. At this point, Natsum also felt that the time was ripe. Although the power of his arrogant fireball technique is indeed amazing. But in terms of chakra reserves, he may not be comparable to the standard movie-level powerhouse Fuyue. Consuming a protracted war will only be more detrimental to yourself. Must explode. Grand Patriarch, come up with some strength. Go straight ahead. Don't let me down. Tonight, let Konoha feel the pain again. Kaleidoscope writing will eyes, open. Susanoo, open. Next moment. The yin and yang were reversed, and the turbulent pupil power roared out. A touch of extreme blood-red light bloomed from Natsum's pupils. Immediately afterwards, a scarlet skeleton Susa demon god stood up from the ground, standing high in the sky, intimidating the quartet. Chapter 2 Susanoo, shocking the audience. Is that a kaleidoscope writing will I? This is it. The legendary power of God, Susanoo. How come? I remember, that's Uchiha Natsum. Fuyue's nephew. Isn't he only 10 years old this year? He actually opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel. How is this possible? With the appearance of the tall Susa demon god. For a moment, all the ninjas around were shocked. No way, this kind of power of gods and demons that only exists in the scrolls of history was revealed to the world for the first time. The shock it brings is truly unparalleled. Although, it was only the first state of Susanoo, with only a huge half-body skeleton. But the violent chakra aura, combined with the phantom of the skeleton more than 10 meters high, is still very deterrent. It made all the Umbu ninjas tremble. What's more, such a mighty power that surpassed the elite Jonin still appeared on a 10-year-old Uchiha boy. This is even more unbelievable, like a dream. Now, seeing that Natsum opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel, and displayed the power of God, Susanoo, Uchiha Fuyue was also shocked. You! When did you turn on the kaleidoscope? Even the third force is under control. This is your confidence. He never thought that someone could open a kaleidoscope at such a young age. Itachi, who thought he opened the kaleidoscope at the age of 13, was already good enough. Unexpectedly, this kid is even more outrageous. This kid is really hiding too deep. If only I knew earlier. Then your own coup d'état will definitely have a better chance of winning. It's a pity that this kid has so much power. Instead of thinking about a coup d'état, he decided to lead more than half of his clan to defect. How stupid. Natsum, stop it. Even if you have a kaleidoscope shaker and Susanoo, you will never succeed. We can. Oh. It's useless to talk too much, give me death. Natsum sneered, without a word of nonsense. He directly controlled Susa and attacked Fuyue. The huge skeleton fist roared, and the violent wind swayed in circles. Just about to hit Fayek. In other words, when everyone thought that the Uchiha Patriarch was going to be hammered into patties. A moment. A piece of dark black chakra gushed out, quickly solidified, turned into an equally tall skeleton Susa, and took the punch abruptly, boom dash. A huge muffled sound exploded. A powerful shock wave swept across Fuyue and smashed away. The mansion of the Patriarch was directly twisted into pieces, and a large deep dent was left on the ground. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 3. So powerful, it's really terrifying. It was as if a heavy hammer smashed into the hearts of the audience, causing the few ninjas who had wanted to take action to stop. For fear of being hammered into a meat pie. Seeing this, Xiao Mu's eyes also brightened. Although he has long known that Fuyue, the great patriarch, has hidden a lot of strength. However, seeing him turn on the kaleidoscope with his own eyes at this moment and cast Susanoo, he couldn't help but feel a sudden shock in his heart. Such a patriarch who is good at forbearance, such a strong man who has survived 2 ninja wars. In the end, he was willing to die at the hands of his own son. It's so sad. And Konoha, who destroyed the Uchiha clan like this, wasted his arms. It's rotten to the core. Choosing to defect to Konoha and leave this devil's lair is indeed the right choice. Xiao Mu sighed in his heart. But there was no hand in the fight. Continue to control Susa, and attack the black Susa of Fayek. Soon, the 2 devil gods fought together again. At the same time. In the distance of the battlefield, in a dark alley. Witnessing the 2 powerful figures who were fighting fiercely in their mansion, the figure of the boy wearing a fox mask, he couldn't help being stunned. Father, cousin Natsum, they. How come? Obviously, he has already made the decision to dye his hands with blood and bear all his sins. But, why is there such an accident at this moment? And cousin Natsum, hasn't he always been the tail of the crane in the Ninja Academy? Why does it have such terrifying power? He also turned on the kaleidoscope and fought with his father until this point. Countless questions rose from Itachi's heart. But he, who should have rushed out first to stop this fierce battle, did not do it. Instead, he was still hiding in the darkness, continuing to pay attention to the direction of the battle. After all, he, who is on the task of exterminating the clan, cannot be exposed at this moment. The fierce battle between the 2 Susa demon gods is too violent. Every collision, every confrontation. The aftermath that escaped was enough to cause the surrounding buildings to collapse in an instant. Only a few dozen seconds before and after. Most of the Uchiha stations and dozens of mansions were smashed to pieces by the aftermath of the fierce battle. Many Uchiha clansmen, who were bewildered, also fled from their homes. And watching this fierce battle, his face was stunned. No one knew why their respected patriarch suddenly fought with his nephew like this. The other side. With the heat of the battle. Swipe swipe dash. Soon, a sound of breaking through the air sounded. The Hinata clan, the Oil Girl clan, the Inuzuka clan, the Nara clan, the Yamanaka clan, etc. Plus 3 generations of Hokage, Sarutobi hidden. Root Commander, Shimura Danzo. One after another Konoha high-level, ninja clan chiefs have arrived. But at this moment, everyone was shocked by the fierce battle between the 2 tall Susa demon gods in front of them. It's amazing. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Who is Fuyue fighting? Is it an intruder? Be careful, the wind from the battle is too strong, don't be blown away. Several patriarchs with high identities exclaimed. Even, witnessing this scene. Even the 3 generations of Sarutobi, who have always been calm, were amazed. This is the legendary, Susanoo. Only the Uchiha people who open the kaleidoscope can master the power of God. I didn't expect. This guy, Fuyue, has hidden such strength. You know, look at Uchiha's family history. There are only a handful of powerhouses who can turn on the kaleidoscope and display Susanoo. Unexpectedly, Fuyue has quietly reached it. No wonder, 2 years ago, he had the courage to deliberately coup. Just, what happened to that boy? When did the Uchiha family still hide such a monster? Can you be like this with Fuyue? Sarutobi clicked his tongue again. In all fairness, even if it is him, if he responds in a hurry, I am afraid he is not the opponent of Susanoo. Reporting to the 3rd generation, the boy's name is Uchiha Natsum, the nephew of Captain Fuyue. He is still studying at the Ninjutsu Academy. An Umbu ninja rushed to report. Students of Ninja Academy? Isn't it even a ninja? Bullshit. Looking at it like this, even the elite Jounin is not enough for him to punch. Such a disparity in information will undoubtedly surprise everyone once again. So far, Sarutobi sighed. A somber face. When he looked at the figure of the young man who was fighting with Fuyue, he was even more apprehensive. A 10-year-old Uchiha boy has a kaleidoscope writing will I, and the power of the gods, Susanoo. This kid's talent is probably still above Jishue and Itachi. Such a monster must be killed. If he continues to grow, he will definitely become the biggest obstacle to my succession to Hokage. 3 generations of adults, let them fight again, sooner or later, it will spread to other areas. Do we want it? As a think tank, Nara Shikahisa asked worriedly. No hurry. Order Umbu and join in first, and give priority to saving the innocent residents around. Then set up the isolation belt and prepare the enchantment class. Once the battlefield continues to expand, activate the enchantment to stop them. Before that, try not to get involved in the battle, so as not to be affected. Sarutobi quickly ordered in a deep voice. After gaining the experience of the Ninetales invasion before, the village also deliberately strengthened the training in this area, and it is still orderly at this moment. Fortunately, the resident of the Uchiha family is far from the center of the village. Even if the battle is fierce at this moment, it has not affected the core of the village too much, and it is still within the controllable range. Of course, the most important thing. Mainly, Sarutobi didn't know how to end the fierce battle. If you enter the venue rashly, let alone those Umbu ninjas. Even he himself can't hold back 2 iron fists of Susa demon god. Same time. As soon as Sarutobi was about to continue watching, Danzo beside him became anxious. He hurriedly shouted. Cannot wait. Infighting broke out in the Uchiha clan, affecting the village and endangering so many people. It is enough to see that his temperament is cold, and he has no consideration for the village at all. His rebellious heart is obvious. And such ninjutsu must consume chakra very much. At this moment, it is a great opportunity to defeat the 2 and win the entire Uchiha clan in one fell swoop. The situation is urgent, do you still want to condone the Uchiha clan? Sarutobi frowned, we know very little about Susanoo, and rushing to take action will only increase casualties. It's just, Susanoo. As long as I swarm up and join forces, I will definitely be able to kill these 2 traitors. Danzo took out his kunai and called out. While taking the lead in the attack. While appealing to the people around, they swarmed up. Take this opportunity to get rid of Fuyue and that terrifying Uchiha boy. The next moment. Danzo, who pretended to attack, froze in place. Because, except for a few root ninjas, no one of the rest was ready to attack. Everyone was staring at him, as if they were looking at an idiot. Obviously, where there are 3 generations. It is not his turn to be the root leader to order everyone. What's more, no one would rush up stupidly and fight against the terrifying Susa demon god. Not to mention, the weapon only relies on a kunai. For a time, holding the kowu in his hand, Danzo, who was in a dilemma, was extremely embarrassed, and his face turned pale with anger. But after hesitating again and again, he finally did not dare to take a step and launch an attack. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 4. Chapter 3 The Second Form, 3 Moves to Defeat the Enemy. At this moment, the night is like ink, pitch black. In front of the Konoha police force building. The space fluctuated suddenly, and a figure wearing a yellow tiger pattern threaded mask suddenly appeared. Konoha police force. What a joke. This joke will end tonight. With a contemptuous laugh, Obito's figure flashed. He rushed into the police force building in front of him. The next moment. Only then did he realize that the brightly lit building was empty. Dozens of Uchiha elites who were supposed to be here are actually gone. How is this possible? Could it be that the coup d'état of the Uchiha clan has already been launched? All the elite tribes here have been dispatched. Impossible. Such an action must be impossible to hide from Konoha. Where have the people here gone? Just when Obito was confused. Boom, boom. Huge explosions and collisions came from afar. The divine power that Obito unleashed instantly teleported himself to the top of the building and looked in the direction of the fierce battle. Next moment. He couldn't help but be astonished after witnessing 2 tall Susa demon gods rising from the Uchiha station. How come? That's Susanoo. Is it a weasel? No, it's not his breath. Is it possible that there are still 2 powerhouses who have opened the kaleidoscope in the Uchiha clan? Hidden so deeply. It seems that one of them should be Fuyue. Humph. Is this waste patriarch finally willing to show his strength? Is this a civil unrest? He's cracking down on resistance. On the outside, hesitant and hesitant. Attacking the inside, leaving no strength. Cut. Obito secretly sneered. But he didn't choose to rush over there. After all, most of Konoha's powerhouses have gathered at this moment. If you approached rashly, if it was exposed, it would be bad. Let's take a look at it from a distance. At the same time. Around the battlefield. Under Sarutobi's instruction, the rest of the Konoha ninja did not rashly join the war. Instead, the residents were evacuated in an orderly manner while the surrounding area was blocked. Try to narrow the battlefield as much as possible. And the center of the battlefield at this moment. Natsum watched the surroundings distractedly while controlling Susa's fierce battle. Seeing Sarutobi, Danzo and others, all of them were present. The time has finally come. He didn't hold back anymore, and quickly burst out with all his strength. Tongli and chakra vented out like a torrent, urging the kaleidoscope to right round eyes, and directly pushed Susanoo from the first form to the second form. In an instant, numerous chakra materialized meridians and flesh grew wildly, wrapping the entire Susa skeleton in a coat-like form. In this state, Susa's attack power and defense power have been greatly improved. You can even use your own weapons and ninjutsu. Its power far exceeds the initial state and the first form of Susa. However, the chakra consumed by this state will also increase exponentially, and it will bring a great burden to the kaleidoscope. Hard to last. Natsum, you have developed the power of God to such a degree. Looking at the figure of Susa who put on the feather coat, the breath skyrocketed a lot, and the power was even more terrifying. Fuyue couldn't help but his eyes were bulging, and he exclaimed with smacking his tongue. In just a few minutes. His once unknown nephew brought him and the whole Konoha shock too much. If it weren't for 7 years ago, this kid would only be 2 or 3 years old. He had to wonder if it was this kid who controlled the nine-tailed attack on Konoha at that time. But, time could not help him marvel. Next moment. Natsum Susa bent his hand and pulled out a nearly 20-meter-long chakra broadsword. Pulled out a gorgeous knife flower in the air, carrying a shocking trend. Susa, who was abruptly slashed towards Fuyue, slashed. The extreme sense of danger exploded on Fuyue's scalp. In an instant, he also hurriedly activated the kaleidoscope writing wheel to transform towards the second form of Susa that he had never mastered, preparing to forcibly enter the second form. However, Natsum made this knife too fast, too fierce. Before the chakra flesh and blood on Fuyue Suzuwa's body was wrapped and formed, he directly tore the flesh and blood and split the skeleton bones. Second knife. The third knife. 3 knives in a row, one knife is more ruthless than the other. Rolling up the boundless wind and waves, chi breaking the cloud river, incomparable. Crack dash. Fuyue Suzuwa was smashed on the spot under the surging sword force, and it was all torn apart. And he himself flew out backwards, vomiting blood. After crashing into several houses one after another, Kai Kanken fell into the ruins dozens of meters away. Within 3 moves, defeat a proper shadow-level powerhouse. Such a shocking scene also caused the surrounding ninjas to smack their tongues in horror and show fear on their faces. Such overwhelming strength is really disturbing. In the same way, Danzo hides beside Sarutobi. He looked at the figure of Susa holding a giant sword, and then at the tiny kunai in his hand. In the end, without leaving any trace, he quietly took back the kunai in his hand. Come to think of it, this guy will never give birth to the absurd idea of using Kumu to stab Susa. After defeating Fuyue with 3 moves, Natsum also felt quite exhausted, and most of the chakra in the body had been consumed, and the kaleidoscope writing wheel lacking in pupil strength also felt a burning pain. Even Susanoo, who made Natsum unable to maintain his second form. It had to degenerate into the initial state, leaving a 3-meter-high skeleton rib as a defense. However, Natsum knew better. Your purpose has been achieved. Before defecting, he had to come to fight with the great patriarch Fuyue, but it wasn't because he had nothing to do when he was full. Because this is a fierce battle. As a result, it can attract the attention of most Konoha ninjas and reduce the difficulty of other clansmen escaping. Second, you can show your strength without any scruples, so that those who try to calculate your own and others in the future can weigh them. After all, if you don't show your dreadful strength. Even if he led half of his clan to escape Konoha successfully. What followed was nothing but Konoha's endless pursuit. In this cruel ninja world, only strength is the standard to measure everything. It will be terrifying. So far, the effect is still very good. This wave of his own outbreak obviously shocked many people. At this moment, more than half of the other clansmen who were willing to defect to Konoha had basically managed to escape after thinking about it. Next, you just need to escape Konoha yourself. After reading this, Xiaomu didn't say a word, and bowed his knees. In an instant, he jumped out of a distance of tens of meters, and quickly fled away from Konoha. He doesn't learn those stupid rebellions. Before leaving, he had to leave a few ruthless remarks in a silly way to draw a wave of hatred. For fear that others will not kill you. If you have that time, wouldn't it be fragrant to escape a few hundred meters more? Seeing the end of the war, Fuyue was defeated. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 5. On the other side, Natsum also showed fatigue, and chakra was weak and fled. The urgent Danzo finally couldn't bear it anymore. He hurriedly yelled at Sarutobi. Sarutobi! Hurry up! This is the last chance. Do you want to let such a big scourge escape the village? You have seen his strength. And he is too young. With time, he may not be the second Uchiha Madara when he grows up. Do you think, by then, Konoha will be able to stop his revenge? Listen to this. A little struggle flashed in Sarutobi's eyes. If it is not necessary, he is really unwilling to fight against the Uchiha family at every turn. But Tuanzang also said it well. As Hokage, he must also think about the village. Definitely can't let such a scourge with huge potential escape from Konoha. After hesitating for a moment, Sarutobi made a quick decision. Umbu obeys orders. S-level priority task, stop the defecting Uchiha Natsum, try to catch him alive. If necessary, allow to kill. Yes. With Sarutobi's order. A group of Umbu ninjas took orders one after another and quickly chased and killed Natsum. Even the patriarchs of the big families looked at each other and acquiesced to this decision. After all, from the standpoint of Konoha and their family, no one wants to see another Uchiha Madara born in the Uchiha family. At the same time, Danzo got the right to pursue and kill. He even smiled slightly, raised the corner of his mouth, and quickly led a few root ninjas. Disappeared into the night. For him, he is naturally determined to win such precious pair of kaleidoscope writing will eyes. Chapter 4 Pursuit, Ambush. Shadow Clone Technique. After rushing out of the encirclement, Natsume immediately performed the technique of Shadow Avatar, separated 5 figures, and fled in several directions. Don't underestimate this B-level Shadow Clone technique. As a ninjutsu created by Hokage Tobirama, the second generation of Konoha, for the Uchiha family, it is different from many other clone techniques. Physical clones can be created using chakra. The level of fidelity is difficult to see even with a writing wheel. At this moment, it is used to escape, and it really works well. Very easily, he led most of the chasing soldiers behind him for Natsume. Crack dash. Click dash twice. Relying on the exclusive ability of the left eye of the kaleidoscope shaker, Natsume easily solved the 2 Umbu chasing ninjas. In the battle between ninjas, the most important thing is surprise and the amount of information. And the special ability of his own pair of kaleidoscope writing will eyes is one of Natsume's most important cards. Therefore, once shot, one hit kills. Natsume will never let anyone who has seen the exclusive abilities of his eyes live and expose his abilities. Not like some idiot. The ability to show off your eyes at every turn, but you can't kill a single person. This is why, in the previous war, he only used Susanoo, but he did not use the exclusive ability of his eyes. At that time, there were so many people, and Natsume couldn't kill everyone. Moreover, from the visual sense alone, Susanoo is much more shocking. After solving the 2 pursuers, Natsume continued to run. Due to the residence of the Uchiha clan, it was close to the edge of the village. But for a moment, Natsume tore open the ring and rushed out of the village into a dense forest. At the same time, the burning pain in his eyes also forced Natsume to release Susanoo. Coupled with the nearly exhausted chakra, and the exhausted body, there is no doubt that Natsume at this moment is already at the end of the game. However, since he dared to openly defect, how could he be unprepared? Soon, Natsume rushed into a large tree that had already been selected, and covered his figure with the dense leaves. And sit down, ready to restore chakra. With a flip of his right hand, 3 Dan with a glowing halo appeared in Xiaomu's hand. These are all gifts obtained through the system Krypton Gold Lottery. After eating, you can quickly recover chakra and repair physical injuries. It is quite similar to the medicinal pills of the Otsutsuki family. It is also the strength of Natsume who dares to break out with all his strength and his hardcore fuyue. Soon, 3 Dan will be eaten. But more than 10 seconds. The chakra in Natsume's body recovered by more than half, which is extremely fast. And there are no side effects, far better than the tasteless and unpalatable military pills. After recovering a lot of physical and mental strength, Natsume did not leave quickly. Instead, another shadow clone was released and continued to escape along this road. As for his body, he continued to lurk in this dense forest. Wait for the time. According to his guess, that old Danzo will definitely covet his own pair of kaleidoscopes. And thus relentlessly pursue and kill himself. At that time, it will be the best chance to get rid of this root of all evil. Thanks to him, he and the entire Uchiha family have lived in Konoha for these 10 years. It can be described as dire straits and suffering. So if there is a chance, I have to give it a try myself and try to hack this to death. Minutes passed by. Just a minute. Natsume witnessed with his own eyes, 3 groups of Umbun ninjas rushed over from here and chased after his shadow clone. Finally, more than 10 seconds later, 2 ninjas dressed as Root chased after him from a distance. One of them also led a ninja dog with an extremely sensitive sense of smell. It seems that he is relying on the ability of the ninja dog to precisely pursue Natsume. Soon, the two stopped under the big tree and seemed to find something. Next moment. Several bursts of air sounded. The three kunai shot into the dense leaves of the tree branches where Natsum was hiding, forcing Natsum to jump out of it, revealing his figure. Natsum, Wolverine, fell to the ground. He was panting slightly, his face was pale, and he looked like he was overdrawn in prostration. He quickly pulled out kunai, staring at the two root ninjas with a solemn expression. It is a vivid and practical interpretation of the appearance of the oil is exhausted and the lamp is dry. At this time, in the darkness behind the woods, a figure leaning on crutches and squinting eyes slowly walked out. Tuanzo. Xiao Mu shouted angrily, with a strong hatred in his eyes. What a cunning little devil. He actually relied on the shadow clone to distract most of the pursuers, and let the main body hide here. It's a pity that I still saw through it. Danzo let out a contemptuous expression with a hint of joy. In his opinion, Natsum, this smart kid, is still far too tender. Moreover, attracting other Umbu ninjas like this is undoubtedly more conducive to his hunting. At that time, you only need to take the eyes of this kid, and then destroy the corpse and destroy it. How did you find me? Natsum gasped, frowned, and asked in deliberate surprise. That's not what you should know. Although your talent is far beyond my imagination, even above Itachi. At a young age, you have opened the kaleidoscope and the power of God. It's a pity that you are still too young. You actually fought with that guy from Fuyue so far. Now, your chakra and pupil power are exhausted, right? In this way, your pair of riding will eyes will be accepted by me. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 6. Tuanzang sneered, looking like he was winning. At the same time, he quickly ordered in a cold voice, without the slightest hesitation. Go. Be careful not to ruin the pair of riding wheels. Next moment. The two root ninjas shot out and quickly killed Natsum. These two are both good players in the root, and their strength is also second to none in the Jonin. Of course, their strength is far from being comparable to that of a clan leader like Fuyue. It is definitely not an opponent of the power of God, Susanoo. However, it is more than enough to capture or kill a 10-year-old who is depleted of chakra. Unfortunately, this time, both picked the wrong opponent. Just when the two were about to kill Xiaomu. Illusion, darkness. In an instant, this high-level illusion was activated suddenly. Directly centered on Natsum, the surrounding area within 10 meters was enveloped in it. And forcibly deprived the two root ninjas of vision. Immediately after. Kaleidoscope Sharingan left ice moment. Second order quadruple speed gain, on. In the dark. Natsum, who activated the exclusive ability of the Kaleidoscope's left eye, instantly quadrupled in speed. It is almost comparable to a high-level instant body technique. Holding the kunai directly in his hand, the streamer flashed. Just over 10 meters away. At the same time, being deprived of their vision by the darkness technique, the two root jounin were in panic. I just felt a chill in my neck. Then, he fell heavily to the ground and lost his life. Instantly seal the throat, kill in one hit. Chapter 5 Blast Hammer Danzo. Seeing the light in the large area ahead, they were instantly swallowed by a black curtain. Danzo couldn't help but be surprised. As an old man, he naturally recognized this ninjutsu instantly. A great forbidden technique, the technique of darkness. This is the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobarama full of inventions, specially used to restrain the forbidden technique of the pupil family such as the Uchiha family. How could he be taught by such a kid from the Uchiha clan? Humph. Stupid. Do you really think you can win with an illusion? This kind of forbidden technique consumes a lot of chakra. It is estimated that the last chakra in his body has been drained. It's just a kid after all, so naive. After being slightly surprised, Danzo even laughed contemptuously. In his opinion, Natsum is nothing more than a desperate struggle. That pair of kaleidoscope riding will eyes is still his own after all. Only. The battle in the shady seems to be over very quickly. Only 2 or 3 seconds before and after. The black curtain created by that large piece of darkness technique was suddenly broken open. Next moment, a large piece of scarlet light broke out at dawn, spreading out with a violent chakra vent. A huge dark red, Susanoo, suddenly appeared, but it was still directly in the second form of the half-body with flesh and blood, wearing a coat and holding a weapon. Seeing this, Danzo was instantly shocked. How come? Isn't this kid running out of fuel and dying? How can you still use Susanoo? Just when Natsume fled. Danzo is very sure that this kid has almost exhausted his pupil power and chakra. But now, looking at this sturdy figure of Susa, this imposing chakra fluctuates. How can there be any signs of chakra drying up? It's even more violent than someone who's been on drugs. Even the Bing Bing pills have no such effect. What a hell. However, on Natsume's side, there was no time for Danzo to be in a daze. Danzo! Didn't you say that this mere Susanoo is nothing to be afraid of? Then let's try it. A whistling sound. A dark red chakra sword more than 10 meters long roared out, slashed horizontally from the right side, sweeping the wind and clouds, and it was like the sky. Relying on this knife displayed by Suzuwa, it is too fast. It was so fast that Danzo couldn't avoid it, and the huge blade was already close at hand. And the strong chakra coercion and wind pressure generated by the blade stunned Danzo and blocked his escape route. Strive to kill with one knife. This is the real killer move of Natsume, staying here and ambush Danzo. 2 done, 2 Ryobi. Wind escape, vacuum wave. At the critical moment, the sense of danger of death squeezed out all the potential of Danzo. Let him ignore Chakra's backlash and force instant ninjutsu. 3 walls of earth were cast one after another on his right side for defense. At the same time, a large group of wind and air waves were violently sprayed downward, trying to rely on the recoil force to break through the wind pressure of the Shiamu sword and avoid this sword. The 3 earth walls are nearly 1 meter thick, and their defensive power is amazing. But in front of Natsume's Susa broadsword, it's no harder than butter. Just like cutting tofu with a knife, it is easy to cut and continue to chop towards Danzo. And Danzo, who had just jumped up half a meter with the recoil of the wind done, watched helplessly as the earth dun's defense was broken, and the giant knife slashed straight towards him. He was so terrified that his eyes widened and his soul flew away. Yell. Do not. Next moment. The blade slashed, and blood spattered. Both of Danzo's legs were cut off by Chi Shushu and fell to the ground. And his own upper body was swept away by the air waves, hitting him more than 10 meters away. A time. Severe pain under the legs. The humiliation of sudden defeat. Add a strong sense of absurdity. And so on with the emotions stacking up. At this moment, this root leader, the dark leader in the deepest part of Konoha, almost collapsed. How come? My leg. This is impossible. Danzo lost the gloom of the past, and shouted with a twisted face. After so many years of vertical and horizontal Konoha, he never thought of it. He would be defeated by a 10-year-old Uchiha kid in one move. This is simply a disgrace. The other side. Seeing that the knife could not kill Danzo. TSK. Did you escape the fatal blow? Then take another shot. Xia Mu pursed his lips. Then, without any hesitation, he controlled Susa and waved his sword out again. From top to bottom, he slashed at Danzo again with precision and accuracy. This knife, the power is even more powerful by 3 points. As if to split the earth. Without giving Danzo a chance to react at all, he came in a hurry. Boom, dash. A huge roar suddenly sounded. This powerful knife directly slashed a deep ravine nearly 30 meters on the ground. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 7. Just the shock wave it rolled up, knocked down dozens of big trees around it, with terrifying power. Such a heavy blow, let alone a ninja of flesh and blood. Even a psychic beast with rough skin and thick flesh is absolutely difficult to resist. Natsume couldn't believe it, Danzo, this bastard, could still handle such a heavy blow. At this moment, the fierce battle fluctuated. Powerful chakra breath. The tall and mighty Susa figure. They all quickly attracted the attention of many Konoha ninjas who were chasing around. Think about it, someone will arrive here soon. It's time to leave too. However, just as Natsum was about to leave. Next to the deep knife-marked gully. An illusory figure gradually condensed into reality. It was that old thief in the group. At this moment, Danzo was lying on the mud floor in an extremely embarrassed manner, his legs were all broken, and his mouth was full of blood. He had to support the ground with half his left hand, and looked at Natsum with extreme hatred and resentment. Natsum's first knife just now is too fierce. Just a little bit, it directly chopped off Danzang. But, Rao is so. Danzo, whose legs were cut off, was still seriously injured, and he had to use chakra to stop the wounds on his legs. However, according to this injury, if it is not treated in time, once the effect of Izanagi is over, he is afraid that he will still die. At the same time, seeing Danzo's resurrection, Natsum's pupils shrank, and his brows were slightly wrinkled. As a Uchiha clan, how could he not understand? This bastard, Danzo, must have used the ultimate pupil technique of the Uchiha clan, Izanagi. Relying on this forbidden technique, reality and virtuality are distorted. Physically restore the state of writing wheel eye records from the lethal attack just received. Thus avoiding his own fatal knife. Damn it! Is this the ultimate pupil technique Izanagi? Although it is at the cost of permanent loss of light from Sharingan. But this effect is indeed comparable to a miracle. Before, he pretended to be out of strength, showing weakness to the enemy. Just to let Danzo relax his vigilance. Then outrageously shot, a knife is faster than a knife. I don't even want Danzo to have the opportunity to use this forbidden technique. Did not expect. In an instant, let this activate this forbidden technique. Why? It can only be blamed that their ancestors were so excellent that they developed such an extreme pupil technique. It's even more strange that this old Een is too shameless. He actually learned such an ultimate pupil technique, and even took away the writing will eyes of Ji Shui and the rest of the clan. Chapter 6 Reverse Dharma Channeling. Forbidden Art, Izanagi. Danzo. Your dog's life is indeed like a dung beetle, stinky and hard. Natsum stared at Danzo, with anger in his eyes, he gritted his teeth and cursed. Cough cough. Dung beetle? What is that? Danzo coughed up blood and cursed his brows in confusion. He didn't understand how. Natsum, this little devil, has already run out of oil and dried up. Why can it recover quickly and burst out with such strength? If he knew that he could still activate Susanoo, he would never show up rashly. Unfortunately, it's too late to say anything now. This cunning brat did win, and made himself pay dearly for his legs. Good luck. He is also hiding his trump card. I stole a writing will I from Jishui. He also secretly obtained the forbidden technique, Izanagi, from the Uchiha clan. Thus saving his life. Otherwise, he is afraid that he is already the same as the deep gully next to him. It was chopped into flesh with a knife. Terrible. Danzo, who was lucky enough to survive the rest of his life, did not dare to hesitate. He struggled quickly, tearing open the gauze wrapping his right arm with his mouth. The entire right arm was transplanted with Muduan cells made by Orochimaru, as well as 2 fresh writing will eyes. The vivid eyeballs inlaid on the arms are extremely distorted just by looking at them, making the scalp tingle. I don't know how Danzo fell asleep at night. Sharing round eyes. Would escape cells. Brute. Natsum scolded deliberately and pretended not to know. Danzo didn't care about Natsum's insults. Disgusting or sinful. As long as you can gain strength. Can make oneself stronger and more excellent on the position of Hokage, and lead Konoha to glory. What does it count? What's more, if there is no Sharingan transplanted, if not, Izanagi, he may have died just now. Little devil. I didn't expect it. Cough cough dash. You lose. Danzo laughed with difficulty, and raised his Sharingan right arm. Be prepared to launch, Izanagi, again at any time, lest the opponent attack you during the interval of the forbidden technique. Obviously. As the leader of the route, coupled with the brutal Third Ninja War, and the sacrifice rate of various high-risk missions, it is not difficult for this guy to secretly capture the corpses of a few Uchiha tribesmen and obtain their shakers. It is estimated that it is precisely because of the initial transplant of these few riding wheel eyes. Let him taste the power and beauty of this, blood-following boundary. This guy will not hesitate to take a shot at Jishue. That's why you secretly promote Uchiha's plan to exterminate the family. The two riding wheel eyes, and the right eye of Jishue. In the hands of this old fellow Danzo, there are a total of 3 riding wheel eyes. That is to say, he can activate it at least 3 times and maintain Izanagi for 3 minutes. Can you last 3 minutes by yourself? Sure. If not Izanagi. In less than 3 seconds, I can kill Tuanzang by myself. You can drive the invincible of Izanagi for 3 minutes, but it will be troublesome. After all, don't talk about 3 minutes now. Just delay for 1 more minute, and countless Konoha ninjas will be killed around. At that time, he will become the turtle in the urn. Of course, the ambush was not without effect. At least it severely damaged Danzo, abolished his legs, and forced him to open Izanagi, thus wasting Jishue's precious Kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. It can be regarded as a major threat to himself. After all, Jishue's Kaleidoscope riding wheel eye ability to become a god is really terrifying. If you are not careful, you may be controlled by it. By then it will be over. All in all, it's not a loss. What's more, a living Danzo can harm Konoha and weaken Konoha more than a dead Danzo. Losing? Are you a loser too embarrassed to comment on others? Don't you just want to be Hokage? It was originally broken, and now both legs are broken. I see what you take as Hokage. So afraid of death, why are you fighting for the position of Hokage? Natsume's taunt instantly made Danzo burst into anger. More than 20 years ago, because of a single thought, he missed the position of Hokage, which was the most melancholy knot in his heart. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 8. What's more, he was still mocked by such a 10-year-old Uchiha-haired kid, mocking his lifelong long-cherished wish and pursuit. This really made him angry and hard to accept. You little devil, just be mad again. Wait a while, I'll make you cramp and skin you, so that your life is better than death. Danzo's face was dark and he cursed with extreme resentment. He has been in a high position for many years and has been reclusive behind the scenes, but he has also exercised enough concentration. Although my heart is burning with anger at the moment. But he still did not lose his mind, and continued to maintain the forbidden technique, Izanagi, to ensure his immortality. Anyway, just wait a moment. Konoha will gather a large number of ninjas to surround this kid. At that time, the final winner is still yourself. Brush, brush. After a while, many Umbu ninjas arrived one after another. He quickly protected Danzo and surrounded Natsume. However, under the deterrence of the huge Susa demon god, no one dared to attack. At the same time, not far away, the 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi quickly came to the aid of several great clan chiefs. Tuanzo. Master Danzo. How come? Seeing the mess here, and the seriously injured Danzo, the people who followed were all horrified. It is hard to imagine that Danzo, an old Een, would lose to a 10-year-old boy who should have run out of fuel. And lost so badly. At the same time, saw the arrival of Konoha reinforcements. Natsume was also convinced that Danzo could no longer be killed. I had to put away Susanoo, and prepare to leave. After all, he is strong. But for the time being, there is no ability to match the entire Konoha. What's more, there is the immortal Sarutobi. The reason why I didn't choose to be with Konoha is because of the existence of this guy Sarutobi. Don't look at the fact that the other party is already old and frail, and his strength is not as good as when he was at his peak. But the title of Professor of Ninjutsu is not for nothing, and the overall strength is at least at the middle and upper level of the shadow level. The most important thing is that the other party also masters the sealing ninjutsu of the ghost ban bug. It can be called a move of extreme 1-for-1. Didn't you see that weird snake ant? Did you all get planted? Natsum didn't want to fight, and was directly captured by the death summoned by the old guy Sarutobi, and died inexplicably. This is the fundamental reason why Natsum chose to lead his family to defect to Konoha. Otherwise, it's just himself and Fuyue. Driving 2 Susago Gundams is enough to kill Konoha back and forth 7 in and 7 out. At this moment, Sarutobi looked at the miserable Danzo, and a trace of unbearable and anger also rose in his heart. Although this guy has many shortcomings, Danzo is very ambitious. But it is always his old comrade in arms, old acquaintance. And over the years, he has made a lot of contributions to the development of Konoha, and he has carried a lot of sins. Therefore, Sarutobi also indulged him again and again. Cover him up. Notify the medical team, and rescue immediately. Danzo ordered quickly. Several ninjas hurriedly took Danzo and retreated. Then, Sarutobi looked at Natsum in the distance, and there was a little anger in his eyes. Uchiha. Natsum, right? What exactly do you want to do? Leaving Konoha. Of course, from your point of view, it's defecting. Natsum admitted heartily, why? 3 generations, you are embarrassed to ask why. Don't you acquiesce to the decision to destroy the Uchiha clan? Don't you want me to stay in the village and wait to die? Natsum scorned and asked sharply. You. Sarutobi was furious, but he didn't know how to justify it. After all, as Hokage, Danzo is also vaguely aware of the threat of genocide against Itachi. Moreover, it is difficult for Itachi and Obito alone to slaughter the entire population of hundreds of Uchiha in a short period of time. Those Umbu and Genbun ninjas who are hiding in the dark and ready to take an opportunity are the main force. Itachi, it's just a big excuse to take the blame. Hey. Natsum, let's capture it. As long as you are willing to surrender, the village will forgive you as appropriate. After pondering for a moment, Sarutobi had to persuade him to surrender. No more than Danzo, he is very clear. If this monstrous boy from Uchiha fights desperately, he will definitely bring huge casualties to Konoha. Even with dozens of precious Umbu ninja lives. The village will forgive me as appropriate. It's ridiculous. Sandemu, what exactly is a village? Is a village where there is a Hokage? Sarutobi quickly denied, of course not. The village is made up of people, and the villagers who inherit the will of fire are the real Konoha hidden village. Then we Uchiha family are not part of the village. Of course, but... Sarutobi was speechless again. Still the same reason, the Uchiha clan extermination plan decided by Konoha's senior management is really not glorious. In the name of righteousness, deprive others of their lives. This is the will of fire in your mouth. This is the legacy you inherited from the first and second generation adults. The current Konoha is really rotten to the roots. Xiaomu shouted angrily. Then, he sighed faintly. Okay, stop talking nonsense. From today, I, Uchiha Natsum, lead half of the Uchiha clan to officially rebel against Konoha. If you have the ability, come and kill me. I'm waiting for you. Natsum let out a long roar, and his sharp eyes swept over all the Konoha ninjas around. Shocked, all the Umbu ninjas numb their scalps and take a half step back. Then. Reverse psychic art, open. Bang dash sound. In an instant, a cloud of white mist exploded. Natsum disappeared in place. And instantly appeared at the established gathering point hundreds of miles away. Chapter 7 The Left Behind. At this moment, Konoha hides in the village. In the residence of the Uchiha clan. A large number of Uchiha tribesmen are standing in the ruins full of smoke and dust, their faces are stunned and sluggish. From the beginning of the fierce battle, to the defeat of the great patriarch of his own family, to the defection of the Natsum clan. Before and after, it was only 10 minutes. Most of the buildings in their Uchiha family's residence were turned into ruins. It's too up, isn't it? But soon, these clansmen found out. In the station, many familiar clansmen are gone. Moyo estimated that it was at least half less. Where have all those clansmen gone? Could it be that they really all defected? Many of Uchiha's remaining clansmen secretly made guesses. After all, some time ago, someone in the clan did come to inquire whether they were willing to leave Konoha. The remaining clansmen declined due to various reasons. Or just take it as a joke. But now it seems that this is a joke. They really defected. Hateful. If I had known this was true, I would have run away. For a time, many clansmen who were worthy of reaction could not help but fall into deep regret. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 9. At the same time, in a large area of blackened ruins, a figure that is not very tall is jumping and running quickly. Soon, Itachi passed through the many ruins. He came to the place where his father, Fugaku, was knocked down. But he hasn't waited for him to open the ruins. Uchiha Fugaku, who was covered in dust but full of energy, stood up from a pile of broken wood. Itachi, you are here. Father. Are you all right? Seeing that his father was still alive, Itachi was slightly relieved. Although, tonight, he was originally going to break with his father and the entire Uchiha family. It's okay, no problem. That kid Natsum, he still left a little bit of strength in the end, otherwise. Fuyue patted the dust on his body and sighed slightly. But he immediately noticed his talkativeness and closed his mouth. Konoha can't know about himself and that kid from Natsum's fighting and acting. Well, they were really fighting just now. You see, so many houses have collapsed. What a loss. Father, you and Natsum cousin him? Itachi, who was vaguely guessing, finally asked the doubts in his heart. Natsum. That kid defected to Konoha with more than half of his clan. I was just trying to stop him, but I still failed. Fuyue let out a regretful voice, but the pupils of those eyes were still sharp, and there was no hint of regret at all. How come? Then he's not courting death. Even if you lead half of the clan to defect successfully, it is impossible to stop the follow-up pursuit of the village. Furthermore, if he defected like this, the rest of the clan cannot escape the heavy responsibility. Itachi was taken aback. I really don't understand how Natsum's cousin, he, would do such a crazy and stupid act. He should have his own considerations and countermeasures. However, for him, it is even more worthless to stay in the village and wait to die. Everyone has the right to choose their own future. Itachi, for the sake of Konoha and for Sasuke, it's not wrong to choose to be the enemy of the family. Natsum chose to be the enemy of Konoha for himself and his clan, and it is not wrong. Although your ideas are different, you are both outstanding Uchiha Junjia. What the future will be, it is up to you to create. Fuyue sighed with rare emotion. And slightly raised his head to look at the starry sky. What is the future of the Uchiha family, he can't see clearly now. So, father, you already know. Itachi was startled, not knowing how to explain it. No matter how many reasons. There is no doubt that he betrayed his family and decided to stain his hands with blood. Don't blame yourself. When something like this happened, it's time for your mission to slow down. Go see your mother and Sasuke first. They should be fine. It is good. Hearing Sasuke, Itachi was also a little excited. He was ready to go to see his own brother. Only. At this time. A swipe. Another figure in the coat of the Konoha Guard Corps flashed beside the two of them. Lord Patriarch, young Master Itachi, I'm sorry. Uchiha Yatsushiro, with a gray head and a bony face, quickly said hello. Yashiro? Why are you here? It's Master Natsum's entrustment. Yashiro. Hey. I didn't expect you to take refuge with that kid. Fuyue was slightly surprised. After all, the 45-year-old Yatsushiro, with rich experience and outstanding strength, can be regarded as a solid pillar in the Uchiha clan. He is also his right-hand man in the Konoha police force, and he is also very admired and relied upon. Just, did not expect. Even this guy Yatsushiro, has taken refuge with that kid Natsum. Yatsushiro sighed slightly and said calmly. Patriarch, I just want to change the status quo of the entire family. Compared to Master Natsume. You are still too conservative after all. Fuyu coughed and waved his hand indifferently. Cough cough. Okay, don't say those words. That kid is really evil. His strength is also extremely terrifying. It's not a bad thing for you to serve him. This time, Fuyue really felt old. It seems that the future of the family still has to be handed over to Natsume and Itachi, the younger generation, to work hard. Let's play some residual heat and support them. You're here, do you have any plans for that kid? Yes, Master Natsume still has some words that he wants to leave to Master Itachi. Yatsushiro said his purpose. For Itachi. Fuyue was slightly puzzled. Even Itachi on the side was stunned. I don't understand what the unbelievably strong cousin of Natsume, who was hiding so deeply, left something for him. The next moment, Yatsushiro handed out a scroll. Itachi took the scroll, and with the approval of his father Fuyue, opened it and read it. After a while, finished reading the scroll. Itachi couldn't help but startled suddenly, his eyes lit up. The heart that was supposed to be dead and cold suddenly became active. For nothing else, just because of the method recorded on the scroll, it is very likely that the remaining Uchiha clansmen in Konoha escaped. No need to be exterminated again. No need to fight with Konoha anymore. Is this what cousin Natsume left behind? It's definitely worth a try. Itachi sighed and made a quick decision. Meanwhile, on the other side. To the north of Konoha hidden village, 100 miles away, in a hidden jungle. A large group of Uchiha clansmen are gathered here. They are young, old and young, strong, beautiful, all together, there are more than 400 people. Obviously, they are all members of the Uchiha clan who defected from Konoha. At this moment, everyone is also being led by several powerful clansmen, staying here and waiting quietly. Not for a while. The center of the crowd. On the grass, the palm-sized psychic beast, the panda, also suddenly received instructions. Hastily stretched out 2 round claws, and the seal was activated. Next moment. Reverse psychic art, start. He directly channeled Natsume, who was 100 miles away, to this place. After all, this spiritual technique is a type of space-time ninjutsu. In theory, it can indeed be used to reverse summon. And this is one of the guarantees that Natsume dares to stay in Konoha alone and make a big scene. If not, it is not easy to escape from the tight encirclement of Konoha. I'm back. Are you all okay? In the white fog, Xiaomu shouted and greeted the group of people. At the same time, seeing Natsume return safely. Hundreds of Uchiha clansmen around also cheered excitedly. Master Natsume. Young Patriarch. Great, the young Patriarch is back. We finally escaped Konoha. Countless cheers sounded, and a tide overwhelmed the tide, which was really exciting. Obviously, these Uchiha people who have been rejected and made things difficult by Konoha. After escaping and ascending to heaven, he finally unloaded his burden and became more comfortable. After all, the current Natsume is the backbone of all of them. It is the guiding light to lead them to a brilliant future. There is nothing that excites them more than the safe return of their new young patriarch. Same. Naruto, 10-year-old Kaleidoscope, opening Betrayal Konoha Chapter 10. Looking around for a week, I saw the joy of the people. Feeling the relaxed breath after leaving Konoha, Natsume raised the corners of his mouth rarely, quite happy. Chapter 8. After a little celebration, Natsume also started to get down to business. At this moment, although they have initially escaped from Konoha. But the danger is still not lifted, and it is not time to relax. Sunyao, how many people escaped and how were the casualties? Including you, the young patriarch, a total of 419 people have escaped. On the way to escape, 3 people were killed and 5 people were captured. This young Uchiha Ryo is also one of the outstanding helpers of Natsume's subjugation. He is only 17 years old this year and has just joined the Konoha security force. Especially the strength of the ninja, but he is resolute and careful in doing things, and is trustworthy. Xiaomu frowned slightly, extremely resentful. Although the battle between himself and Fuyue has attracted most of the Konoha ninjas. But it is indeed not easy for more than 400 people to escape completely safely. Have you lost 8 people? Ha! Those ninjas in Konoha really spare no effort. Leave this aside, the captured clansmen, I will try to rescue them later. Vine, did that work? Natsum looked at the other clansman on the right and asked solemnly. Patriarch Hui, it has been successful. This is the silver taels looted from the Konoha treasury. According to your instructions, the young patriarch, only half of them have been looted, totaling 78 million taels. 1 tael equals 10 yen, moyo 0.6 yuan, which is about 48 million. The treasury stores all real gold and silver. Konoha's remaining $1 billion financial reserves are all managed by the administration department. This Uchiha Fuji quickly opened the backpack on his body, revealing a large number of space scrolls inside. There are more than 10. Each of them is filled with silver taels looted from the Konoha vault. It is estimated that Konoha can never think of it again. Those who defected from Uchiha dare to raid the vault. Therefore, the guards outside the vault are really vulnerable under Uchiha ninja who is good at illusion. Seeing this, Natsum couldn't help but be overjoyed. This large sum of money is the real treasure. In fact, taking advantage of the riot, he ransacked the Konoha treasury. This is also one of Natsum's plans. You must know that he defected with more than 400 clan members. In the future, after building a village and settling down, the people of the tribe need to spend money on everything, which can be called a bottomless pit. Not to mention, building a village requires a lot of money. He led his family to defect to Konoha in order to lead a richer and better life. Not with a group of people to be savages. Moreover, as Konoha rebellion, in a short period of time in the future, it will be difficult for him and others to accept the tasks of a big country and earn rewards. Hence, this large sum of funds looted from the Konoha vault. It's your own startup capital. 78 million taels, which is really not much compared to the 5 major countries. But it was enough for myself and others. And the reason why only half of them were looted, not all of them were taken away. It's also to avoid Konoha's dog jumping over the wall. If they were all looted, Konoha's economic chain would be broken, and he would fall into an economic crisis. It is estimated that Sarutobi et al. Guarantee to lead the whole village to hunt down and kill yourself and others. Good job. With this money, our family will definitely be able to create greater glories. It's all the young patriarchs who are wise and martial, and strategize. Uchiha grinned and applauded with an excited smile. After all, he never dared to dream of looting the Konoha treasury before. In the past 20 years, I have never done such a cool deed. All this is thanks to this young patriarch. Okay, stop flattering. Under the notice, prepare for 1 minute. Then continue to set off, target, Taian's-Higuo. I have reserved staff over there. When the time comes, the clansmen will be well received and placed so that they don't have to worry. Natsum gave the order quickly, without the slightest delay. As ordered. When you're ready, you go first. I'll go meet someone and catch up with you soon. Yes. A few minutes later, under the methodical organization, more than 400 Uchiha people here also set foot on the road again. Towards the Taian's-Higuo. Taian's-Higuo is next to Fireland, in the north of Fireland. At the speed of an ordinary ninja, it would take just over a day to rush past. But among the more than 400 people, more than half of them are old and weak women and children, not ninjas. Leg strength and physical strength are quite weak, and it takes about 3 days to get to Taian's-Higuo. Period. You have to face it and remove the traces. Stop the Konoha pursuers. Solve the problems of food and water, etc. This is not a trivial project, and a slight mistake can be irreversible. Of course, these are all questions to consider next. At this moment, there is another problem that he needs to solve. Come out. Don't hide. Summer sighed softly. He reached out and picked up the backpack in front of his feet, and stroked the many space scrolls in the bag. Ding, congratulations on getting 78,200,000 value points. Excuse me, do you recharge 78,200,000 value points and exchange them for 7,820 gold coins? Note, the recharged silver 2 entities will not disappear. The recharge is successful. Congratulations, you got 7,820 gold coins. Current balance, 7,828 gold coins. Look at the system prompts in your mind. As well as the huge wealth that suddenly entered the account, Xiaomu's heart is also happy. You know, you have saved the lucky money for 10 years in Konoha. From the age of 7, he worked numerous odd jobs. He even used the knowledge of his previous life to make money secretly. This was enough to save 10 million taels, recharged 1,000 gold coins, and exchanged the Kaleidoscope writing will I. Now, just for a moment. I got nearly 8,000 gold coins, which is really rich. Next, those expensive exchange capabilities in the system are no longer out of reach. What about the Flying Thor, Immortal Mode, Bayman Duanjia, Samsara I, Heavy Particle Mode? I want them all. Sure enough, work or something. How can robbery get money fast? In this way, the sudden wealth of nearly 8,000 gold coins also brought sufficient confidence to Natsun. For this powerful enemy who is about to debut, he is also much more calm. Of course, compared to Konoha's strategic reserve vault. There should be more banknotes stored in Konoha, administration department, there should be at least 1 billion in reserves. But those banknotes couldn't be converted into gold coins, and the administration department of the Hokage building was more heavily defended. Natsun didn't let anyone raid there. With Xiaomu's voice rang out. Soon. Not far behind, a vague figure gradually appeared. There is no doubt that the other party is the Obito who has been pursuing all the way here. Possessing divine power, he travels faster than ordinary ninjas. As long as you look for the direction, it is not difficult to catch up with these Uchiha clansmen who defected. I didn't expect you to notice me. Obito jumped down from the tree branch and faced Natsun, with a bit of surprise and fear in his eyes. As expected, I guessed correctly, the Uchiha family can always burst out some genius from time to time. The former water stop. Weasel now. And this summer in front of me. They are all geniuses comparable to monsters. When he was as big as this guy, he was only the tail of a crane. And this kid can activate the third force, Susanoo. He even led a family to defect successfully, and played the big Konoha in the palm of his hand. Really terrifying. Such a monster, can't stay. Otherwise, maybe it will interfere with my Eye of the Moon plan. Obito secretly decided in his heart. For him, all threats that might prevent him from building a new world for Lin must be eliminated.